You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com. And it's time for an interesting conversation. Who is the greatest college football coach of all time? Which I was doing research on Alabama, and, you've got to talk about Nick Saban and his entire run with the Crimson Tide thus far. And it's been nothing short of amazing. And when you look at it, you're like, okay, well, where does Nick Saban rank in the pantheon of great coaches? And he's in a top 3 conversation. And he's not finished yet. The top 3, and you can jumble it in whatever order you want to, depending on who you strongly go for on this one. Knute Rockne, Bear Bryant, Nick Saban. That's the 3 people in the conversation of best coach of all time. And what I really thought is interesting about, if you're thinking about who's the best college football coach of all time, is that this is a different best of all-time conversation than other best of all-time conversations. When you look at other sports, you invariably end up having to go, well, how much did he win? How much did his team win? How much did he benefit? What were his stats? What were his numbers? I think baseball is probably the sport where you do this the most, where you either have the numbers or you don't have the numbers, right? Like you either have the hits, the homers, the defense, the saves, whatever. You either have those stats or you don't have those stats. And if you don't have, like, for instance, if you don't have in your career 2,000 hits, it's really hard for us to be like, yeah, no, that guy is one of the greatest players that ever played. And you were an offensive player and didn't get 2,000 hits? No, you're just not in the conversation. Right? Like you are not a Hall of Famer if offense was your calling card and you didn't get greater than 2,000 hits. Especially if you played a decently long career and you didn't get 2,000 hits. Like, it's just, you just don't get to be in that conversation with everybody else in a way that when you're looking at college football, right? Like you don't look and just strictly count the wins and go, oh, on paper, Bear Bryant has 328 wins to Saban's 204. So obviously he's the best coach of all time. Like, okay, fine. But he's already finished his coaching career and he had a pretty long one, because he was a very successful coach. I mean, you can't just look straight at the wins. Bear Bryant had 6 national titles. Saban's got 4. Rockne is credited with 3, though sometimes they count him to 5. Those UPI days where they crowned the national champion before the bowl games. And so Notre Dame and Alabama in one year ended up being crowned the national champions, co-champions. And then they played the bowl game, and then Notre Dame beat Alabama, but that counts as a championship for both of them. Like that stuff was weird. That was also the last year that they gave out the championship before the bowl games were played. Wouldn't happen again. But you can't just count the championships because you do have these different eras of college football. And we'll see how, this college football playoff thing works out. And I think that is a credit to Nick Saban that we've switched formats of how we proclaim our champion, and it hasn't bothered him at all. Yeah, no, like, go out, we create the college football playoff. We've got this whole committee, and undisputedly, Alabama's one of the teams that you've got to put in there. And what do? They go on a run, they win a national championship, and they're back for more, right? And the other thing that kind of spawned this conversation in my mind was that you look at Urban Meyer, and Urban Meyer's younger, and Urban Meyer's in this same conversation too, not quite in the top 3. He's not at that level. But Urban Meyer wins another national title, and he's got 4. I mean, you have to start looking at this guy and going, okay, he's got 4, and he's got them with a couple of different teams. And the reason why he stopped coaching in Florida was because of a lot of stress and a heart condition. And he just had to stop coaching football because it was going to kill him. So you put that into the perspective of, okay, this guy is really good. But Saban, Rockne, and Bryant. They end up being the sort of like standard bearers of this. And I think that you could find a lot of people who would say, you know what, it's Bear and then it's Saban. I'm probably one of those people, and maybe it's just my line of thinking that if Nick Saban hasn't caught Bear Bryant already, what else does he have to do? What else does Nick Saban have to do to be the greatest college football coach in the history of college football? Because the Alabama team that he is coaching now shows no sign of slowing down. It's the greatest defense we've ever seen. They have a playmaking quarterback. Their offensive line is full of studs. They've got wide receivers all over the place with Ridley and Ardarius Stewart. I mean, their depth at running back, and they continue to mine guys constantly. They're never going to run out of talent. He's never going to stop being a great coach. Defense is always going to be the best in the league, if not the best in all of college football. And we're looking at a defense that's probably the best in the history of the thing. NFL players all over the roster. What more does Nick Saban have to do to just be number one already? Like, Nick Saban wins another national title. That'll be 5 national titles in 8 years. At that point, go ahead and crown him number one. Like, this is very much like the conversation of when we talk about, in the NBA, which is another great place to have that kind of conversation, the best of conversations. Who's number one? Who's the best basketball player of all time? Well, right now you got like a 3/4-man conversation in the ballpark of Magic, Bird, LeBron, Jordan. And without the shadow of a doubt, I think most people will agree, best player that ever played basketball, still Jordan. But if LeBron wins another title, what more does LeBron have to do? LeBron James got to an NBA Finals earlier in his career than Jordan did. He did it with worse coaching and crappier talent. He then has been to the last 5 NBA Finals in a row, which nobody else has ever done. And if he goes back to another one, and if you look at the Eastern Conference, there's no reason to believe that he won't go back to another one. That'll be 6 straight finals appearances for LeBron James. At which point, LeBron James will be 4 for 6 in just the ones that he went to in a row consecutively. It's pretty insane. Like, how much more ground does he have to travel? And don't give me he's got to win 6 championships. Well, okay, but it's not all about rings. Even when we look at college football coaches, it's not all about rings. And that's the one place where the ring conversation ought to matter the most, because in college football, the coach basically controls everything. The coach is heavily involved in recruiting. The coach is heavily involved in the design of the team. The coach is heavily involved. Like, if you don't have talent, that's part of your job as a coach. If you don't have great schematics, that's part of you as a coach. If you don't have great motivational skills, well, that's part of you as a coach. That's what you are. Got to in these things, especially when it comes to college football coaches, when we talk about the greatest of all time, you have to factor in the personalities in a way that you don't have to when you're talking about the greatest of in any other sport. You talk about Bear Bryant, a man whose nickname is Bear because, as the rumors go, he literally fought a bear in a carnival. Sure, and it wasn't a wild bear, but it's still a bear, and he beat the bear, and his nickname is Bear Bryant. Like, you have to account for that stuff. And like, when you have the stories and the anecdotes about how guys are, like the famous quotes that you all have from Newt Rockne, you have to factor in a guy's personality in them being one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. And to me, it's more like when you compare the great comedians to each other, right? Because there's a lot of things that go into being a comedian on a technical level. And you're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com. We're talking about the greatest coaches in the history of college football, which is, to me, an interesting discussion because you're looking at, okay, well, Rockne only had 105 wins. Bear Bryant had 328. Saban had 204. But Rockne got his 105 wins in 13 seasons, which is very impressive, by the way. Like, you're not just looking at wins. You're not just looking at national championships. You're not just looking at pure raw numbers when it comes to coaches. You've got to factor in the guys themselves. And it's sort of like when you talk about great comedians. Things that it takes to be a great comedian. There's great timing. You've got to have a great delivery. You've got to have misdirection. You've got to have a solid design to your jokes, right? You can't just go up there and look, my shtick is that I go up there and I sing songs in a funny voice. Yeah, well, if you don't sing songs with good jokes under them, it doesn't matter what voice you go out there and sing with or how well you sing it or whatever. It doesn't hold up, right? So when you talk about those things, when you talk about your favorite comedian or who you think is the best comedian of all time, do you ever go, yeah, I liked that guy's timing? No, I mean, it factors into your mind, but you end up picking the person with the best personality or with the biggest personality or the personality that you most enjoy or that you most find enjoyable to engage with on that level. And so, like, for instance, when you talk about someone as a technical comedian who understands technically everything that you're supposed to do and gets it and is a good comedian and does have a great personality, like Jerry Seinfeld is a guy that sticks out to me with that. Jerry Seinfeld's personality is very fun. It's very self-deprecating. But at the same time, he had the timing. His jokes were great. He was able to make you think a joke was going one way and then it went back another direction. But when you talk to people about their favorite comedians, very rarely do I bump into anybody who says, oh, Jerry Seinfeld is my favorite comedian. Why? Because there are people with even bigger personalities than his that are also great at telling jokes. And that's Richard Pryor. And that's, you look at Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and Louis C.K. right now. I mean, you're looking at a list of guys that they've just got these really big, really recognizable personalities that play into what makes them a great comedian. They're memorable in a way. And so you imagine them as being memorable to their audiences and go, yeah, no, that guy's great. It's the same thing with coaches. You look at a guy and go, that guy's funny or that guy's interesting. Jim Harbaugh right now is a guy that I look at and go, if he were able to win some titles, and time will tell on that one, Jim Harbaugh could be one of those guys in that conversation because he's got this personality that is a stereotype of what a coach would do or what a coach should be. That he wears khakis to the point where he loves khakis. Jim Harbaugh's favorite drink is milk. There's some level where you imagine it's a gimmick, but then it's not. He really is like that and that intense. And when he says the corny things that he says, like, who's got it better than us? Nobody. Like, you believe that that's a thing that Jim Harbaugh believes. Right? And you look at Nick Saban, and Nick Saban has got a personality as well, as much as his demeanor tends to be stern and I keep everything to my chest. There is a level of Nick Saban that you're going to remember him as being this coach that was super calculated. And you're going to remember Nick Saban as the guy that was just going to blow up at the media at any given second, not because he was actually upset with the media, but in fact, because Nick Saban wanted the media to know that, dang it, I'm Nick Saban. That's it. The quote about when they lost to the what was it? They lost to, I forget the FCS school that Alabama lost to, and then they were asking him last year about playing Georgia Cumberland, I believe, and he said, "I'm not going to underestimate Georgia Cumberland, because we've been beaten by an FCS school before. They went through our defense like blank through a tin horn. And I've never heard anybody say anything like that. And to be clear, I'm from Texas, where if there is a weird phrase to describe something, that it came from Texas. And Nick Saban he just said that naturally, and I've never heard anything like that before in my life before. Since like that's one of those things where you hear him say that and go, did he practice that in the mirror before the press conference? There's no way that he came up with that off the top of his head. None whatsoever. But alas, that's exactly what happened. He came, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But that's all of that. Like Nick Saban has got this personality where he's allowed himself to be sort of this larger than life figure. And so sure, he's never going to be, as far as personalities go, bear. You say bear and you're talking about football, you can't confuse him with anybody else. We're not talking about anybody else. You mean Bear Bryant, right? That's what it is. Like one word is his entire identity. You know what it is. And so with that, like it's hard to say, okay, he's going to pass Bear Bryant when it comes to the personality. But when you factor in the personality along with the fact that Nick Saban is just continually winning and continually dominating with that particular team and that particular school, and the fact that it didn't take him that long to even begin dominating in the first place. You had one down year at Alabama and then never again. Never again. Right? And it's the same thing that Bear Bryant basically ended up doing when he took over at Alabama. He had one down year at Alabama and then never again. It's very comparable. And I don't think Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach just yet. But if he wins, right? Like if they win in the Peach Bowl and then they go on and win the national title, what else does he have to do? Is he at that point not the greatest? Like, wouldn't you have to say so? Because it's not a very easy conversation. Like when you look at even when you look at basketball, there is a bigger chasm to cross, it feels like. In college football, a lot of these great coaches end up being able to be great over a very long period of time. So I don't think he's there just yet. But you win that national title, how can we not put you there? You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com. An interesting bit of news. Former UTC quarterback and son of former UTC football head coach Russ Huesman, Jacob Huesman. Jacob Huesman he's an NFL quarterback. It's official. He's officially an NFL quarterback. He is on the New York Giants practice squad. It's unfortunate that it's the Giants. I just don't like them. But he's following his dreams of being an NFL quarterback, and first step is making the roster. So he is officially a New York Giants quarterback on the practice squad of the New York Giants. So good luck to Jacob Huesman as he goes out there and tries to follow the dream of being an NFL quarterback. Though I hope it's one of those unlikely Kurt Warner type stories where he comes out of nowhere. And then Chattanooga's got a new famous person from here. That'd be great. But then I'd have to root against him because he plays for the Giants. Regardless, that's an interesting bit of news that's from around here. Now, on today's show, it is the last show before the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl, and also the last show before Tennessee and Georgia play in their bowl games. Tennessee plays tomorrow. They play Nebraska at 3:30, and Georgia plays TCU at noon. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday of who has the more must-win football game of the two teams, and it's obviously Tennessee. Like, Kirby's smart. He's just starting out in Georgia. We're interested in seeing where he builds. Tennessee all but imploded on itself in the second half of the season, and in that Vanderbilt game, I've never seen quite an offensive implosion like that one. They're just inert in every way. And so, yeah, obviously more must-win for Tennessee. We'll talk a little bit more about why. I'll give you my Peach Bowl and Fiesta Bowl predictions. Also, the Clutch Community Corner is coming around the bend. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
In 1240 Nooga Radio News, Russell Stroud reporting. The Hamilton County School Board has been discussing what to do about Durham school services. Should they renew the contract in June, or should they look for other avenues? Well, here's what's new. Durham School Services has made some meaningful changes to how they run things. For example, they've got cameras which point at the driver now, in addition to the 3 cameras inside their school buses by default. And they've also conducted interviews with each and every driver on their team. As for the school board, some members are looking at private contractors as bus drivers, which they say may be more reliable. But so far, a conclusive decision has not been made. And 2 nights ago, Koisha Ford, who was shot in the head when she was 13 back in 2012, has died at 8 o'clock p.m. 2 nights ago. A new area is being scoured by rescuers trying to find Bradley Powell, who's been missing since December the 7th. Now they're looking in the area of Suck Creek and River Canyon Road. The Tennessee Highway Patrol has lent the use of a helicopter for the search. Evidence collected yesterday will be processed today, and hopefully new information will be found. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Nooga Radio News.
Staying mostly clear and breezy out there through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows near freezing. For Friday, sunshine, still chilly, highs mid, maybe upper 40s. Tomorrow night, cold and frosty again with increasing clouds. Saturday, highs staying into the 40s with rain returning by New Year's Eve night. For the largest selection of fireworks, check out Exit 1A Fireworks, a Black Cat dealer with great prices. Pop a rocket, not your pocket with Exit 1A Fireworks, open daily off I-75 on Ringgold Road in East Ridge. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
How about we change that to Built in the USA? For over 21 years, Affordable Computers has been building computers right here in the good old USA, in Chattanooga, using the highest quality parts and components in every new computer they build. Tell us the exact system you need, we'll build it to your specifications. Or you can choose from a wide selection of our PCs and laptops, starting at under $200. All Affordable Computers are upgradable, guaranteed. Affordable Computers services their computers in store, typically within 1 to 3 days. And when you call, they answer the phone. You get support within minutes that you can understand. Affordable Computers of Chattanooga. And service and support extends for the life of the computer, not just for the warranty of the PC. So there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Call Affordable Computers now on Highway 58 Chattanooga, 423-499-1975. That's 423-499-1975.
Or visit our Fort O store, 706-858-5888.
There's a reason why Alliance Physical Therapy is a choice of professionals and those who care about first-class, top-notch service and treatment. Because at Alliance Physical Therapy of Chattanooga, we don't just treat the symptoms in your body. Whether you're suffering from stiffness, muscle spasms, back pain, chronic headaches every day, stress of life demanding more and more of you, Alliance Physical Therapy takes a holistic approach to healing, mind, body, and soul. Alliance Physical Therapy with a location near you and 9 others in the Chattanooga area. If you don't have a doctor or if your physician's plan for chronic pain is not working, Alliance Physical Therapy will help. Visit Alliance Physical Therapy on the web at nopainpt.com. That's nopainpt.com. Alliance Physical Therapy. And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing their yard up by preventative maintenance. You're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. It happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
So, just because everybody on Earth needed to know, if it was ever a goal of yours in life to wind up dating Serena Williams, it can't happen now because Serena Williams is engaged, and the person she is engaged to is the co-founder of Reddit. His name is Alex something. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name. It's there's a lot of H's in it. The point is, I looked at a picture of that guy and I was like, him? No, him? I mean, all right, cool. Whatever works for you. My point is, that's kind of a wrap. So things are deeply fascinating in the Baseball Hall of Fame because the Baseball Hall of Fame, well, there's a Baseball Hall of Fame tracker. Let me start with that. There's a Baseball Hall of Fame tracker. It's maintained by Ryan Thibodeau, and there are 135 writers that have revealed their ballots so far, which is, in fairness, 31% of the total number of voters. And so, obviously, these are going to be the more tech-savvy and younger voters, so you've got to take this with a grain of salt. But here's the top contenders for the Hall of Fame as it stands right now. Jeff Bagwell with 93%, Tim Raines with 90%, Ivan Rodriguez with 85.2%, Vladimir Guerrero 77%, Barry Bonds 71%, Roger Clemens 71%. And then you've got Hoffman also going at 71%, and so on. And Curt Schilling, of course, is at 53%. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to hold. And you'd have to think that Curt Schilling makes it to the Hall of Fame. Like, so this is like two parts of one take. Part one is Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens at 71%. Should Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens be at 71%? Should they be in the Hall of Fame at all? Because on the one hand, steroids. But on the other hand, Mike Piazza's already in the Hall of Fame. Like, Mike Piazza's already in there chilling, just hanging out. Already in the Hall of Fame. So on that level, you have to go, okay, he's been connected to steroids. Now, he was not named in such things as the Mitchell Report. There were not federal investigations looking into him. But this can't be stressed enough. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens never failed a drug test and never admitted to using steroids. So as much as you want to say, but look at Barry Bonds. Look at Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens looks like a flipping linebacker now. Like, he looks like he could have played football near the end of his career than when he started. And that's not typically the arc of most men in life, that you don't get bigger and stronger as your career goes on. I think passing just on the eye test, these guys are clearly using steroids, but never at any point because you prove it. And they never failed a drug test. Okay, and as much as you want to say, well, there are certain things that you can't test for, and human growth hormone is not really testable, and all of those things, fine. But baseball has nobody but itself to blame for not having drug tests that were particularly competent in the first place. And the other thing about baseball is that it's in a situation where, you didn't care about steroids before 2004 anyway. You're holding it up against these guys for using. And look, I get you want to keep the Hall of Fame clean. But what is your definition of clean? If your definition of clean is, okay, they never took performance-enhancing drugs, then fine. You can keep the Baseball Hall of Fame clean. But in the Baseball Hall of Fame are cocaine abusers. In the Hall of Fame are people who used amphetamines from the beginning of the history of baseball to probably still now, most likely still now, and guys are just not getting caught. Okay, you've had serious drug use in Major League Baseball through the whole history of the league. So what are you defining as clean? Is clean you didn't take something that gives you an advantage? Because to me, if the Hall of Fame is just, are you a great player or were you not a great player? Then you got to have Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens in there. And to be fair, you also got to have McGwire in there as well. If all it is were you great or were you not great? And then even if you have to put an asterisk there, even if you have to make some kind of notation that this guy was listed on the Mitchell report, then do that and let everybody else judge for themselves as they look in the Hall of Fame for who's in there. But clearly, even a connection to steroids is not a problem because you let Piazza in. I'm not even saying let in guys that have repeatedly failed drug tests. People act like this is a slippery slope. If you let a few guys in, you have to let everybody in. No, you don't. You do not. If there's a guy that's failed a drug test, Alex Rodriguez failed a drug test, you don't have to let him in. You don't have to if he failed a drug test. But, and I should point this out, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens never failed a drug test, and they were going after Barry Bonds, and they never got him with anything. Nothing stuck outside of, well, your head's big now, so there. Okay, that's not proof. That's not evidence. We're going to allow the baseball writers of America to basically be the guys that decide, well, Mike Piazza was only sort of connected with steroids, and Barry Bonds, he was really connected with steroids, so we'll let Piazza in, but we won't let Bonds in. And all of that smacks of hypocrisy. And look, Barry Bonds would be in the Hall of Fame with Piazza were it not for the fact that Barry Bonds was a complete jerk about how he went about his business at the end there. Everyone was accusing him of steroids. He didn't handle it with grace or dignity. Barry Bonds acted like the most arrogant man on earth, and it rubbed the writers the wrong way. But I have a problem with the baseball writers of America who being able to vote exclusively who gets into the Hall of Fame and who doesn't get into the Hall of Fame. Are they more qualified than fans to vote? Yes. Are they more qualified than guys who have actually played the game? I don't think so. And I think you should have some kind of balance there and let former players vote. Because here's the thing. You don't want too many former players voting because then I'm just going to vote in all of my buddies. But at the same time, I don't want a bunch of writers with an axe to grind because, look, Barry Bonds was a jerk there, so he doesn't get in. But we all liked Mike Piazza, so he's in? That to me was the line. I didn't have a problem with them before going, you know what? You used steroids, you used performance-enhancing drugs, so you can't be in here. Never had a problem with that. What I did have a problem with was this. Once you let Piazza in, once you let a guy who had the connection to steroids to him, all those other guys that you don't have proof for, but we feel like we're connected to steroids, you got to let them in the Hall of Fame. You absolutely have to. You do not have a choice. You've already set a precedent. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, maybe the tides are changing, but they probably won't. Like, this is the best that we're going to see for them from the revealed ballots, because once you start to get the votes of the older writers in, that the older writers are going to be more than likely the guys who believe, look, the Hall of Fame should be, pure, and baseball should be clean, and having a clean Hall of Fame and showing a clean Hall of Fame will hopefully have the trickle-down effect of having a clean game moving forward, which, of course, it absolutely won't. But that, I understand that line of thinking, and I understand where they're coming from. But if that's the case, then you can't let Piazza in. Then he's already in. So you're just going to have to ease up on Clemens and Bonds, is what it looks like. But by the way, the Baseball Hall of Fame tracker is a great website. It's pretty interesting. If you can mess around with it, I recommend it. It's pretty fun, and sort of following these baseball conversations, which I would die to follow, because I'm never that plugged in to the Hall of Fame. When they announce the guys, that's when I know. Like, I don't know a ton of baseball writers, so I don't have that connection. This website has been absolutely indispensable in all of that, because it just gives you, like, these are the revealed ballots, and I believe the next revealed ballots, if I am not mistaken, is January 18th of the new year. Will be the newest Hall of Famers will be announced, and the tracker will keep updating as more ballots are made public. And I've lost a few whole moments of my life messing around with this thing. So I recommend you to do that. The Baseball Hall of Fame tracker. The interesting thing to me about people and their relationship with athletes, this is Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com, is the stuff that people think that they can say to athletes that you wouldn't say to your friends. And maybe you wouldn't say to that person if they were standing right there, right? So Simone Biles, who I don't understand exactly what it is that people are saying about her, but she's been the subject of online bullying, which is a big problem on this planet, because people just get online and say mean, cruel stuff. And yeah, the mean, cruel things that people say tend to be about what you look like, what your body is like. Oh, I'm going to make fun of your hair or whatever. And people have been basically going at Simone Biles on Twitter and Instagram like nonstop since she showed up in the Olympics to make fun of her and mock her. And it was very confusing to her. And then she had the tweet of, you all can judge my body all you want, but at the end of the day, it's my body. I love it, and I'm comfortable in my skin, which I'm glad that at the age that she is at, that is something that she can walk away and say, because there are people who are less famous than Simone Biles who get to be the subject of online bullying. And I understand that there's a certain amount of expectation that you just have to have when you go online, where the internet is mean. Okay, you have to have something of a thin or a thick skin when you get online, because when people say things to you, they say things to you in effect to hurt your feelings, especially when you are saying something that has merit and has value, and then they don't know what to say back, so they go for the burn and they attack you personally, which I just take as a victory. I go back and forth with people on Twitter all the time. And I think I'm pretty happy to say that overall, I haven't gotten anything personal on Twitter. I haven't gotten anybody making fun of like my face, which there are things that you could make fun of, I suppose, if you wanted to. My caterpillar like eyebrows to start, if you just really wanted to. But like I've not had that kind of encounter and run-in on Twitter. But Twitter is a place that frequently happens, where people get in there and just start saying the most cruel things. And Simone Biles is 18, 19 years old, really should not be saying those things to an 18, 19-year-old person, especially considering that you are grown. If you're grown and you thought when you got online, I'm going to go after this 18-year-old. That'll show her to be happy. That'll show her. You're not only are you not a good person, you are below pond scum. If you are one of those people that was like, yeah, no, I'm going to get online. And to be clear, because you can get online and mess with people. Trolling is something that happens on the internet. Everybody has had it happen to them at one point or another. And maybe you too have been an internet troll. It doesn't take very much. Like, we act like internet trolls are this group of people online that get together and their whole purpose is to troll everybody else on the internet. When really what happens is your best friend could be an internet troll in one situation and then not an internet troll in another situation. There are plenty of situations in which I am an internet troll. For instance, I harass Donald Trump all the time because I think it's funny. And because if enough people harass Donald Trump about one specific issue, he can't take it. He just can't take it. Like, I talk about you having to have a thick skin when you get online. The more famous you are, the thicker your skin has to be. And Donald Trump he just can't take it. And it's funny. But like, his responses to everything. And if you're up at like 3 a.m, you'll catch all of it. It's all happening. It's all happening. So people can be internet trolls in different situations, but there aren't a group of internet trolls just hanging out, right? So with Simone Biles, it's not like a group of people that just decided, let me say something to her because I just want to ruin her day. It's a person who just thought, oh, let me just say this. This is totally acceptable online. But it's not. And you show the understanding of a person that doesn't know how to use the internet. That's where you're at. You live in the 21st century, but just somehow don't know how this connectivity thing works. And you're not famous, so nobody's sending anything to you. Like, you don't matter. So, like, nobody's sending anything to you, but you can turn around and say something to a 17, 18, 19-year-old girl. And it's just mean and cruel and telling her that her body is horrible and that whatever, right? Like, just absolutely ridiculous stuff. And that says so much about you. You are not even pond scum level if that's you doing that. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the urge to tweet or use social media to connect with an athlete, but I'm not even going to say an athlete in this story, but anybody in general, imagine saying it to that person's face, and then imagine that person saying that to you. If you said that to that person's face, and it's completely reasonable that after you said that thing, they hit you, or if they said it to you and it's completely reasonable that after that you just hit them, you probably shouldn't be typing it at your computer. It's a very good, honest, reasonable way of looking at it, and a good, honest, reasonable way of judging and checking yourself online. And then if you still want to say it, knowing that that person really ought to hit you, and you just want to go ahead and be a bad person anyway, well, then at that point, I can't stop you. But if your goal online, and I'm assuming that most of you, your goal online is to not just be this horrible person that just spews obscenities and just heckles people because they're there to heckle. If your goal online is to actually be a decent human being, and I'm just going to extend the olive branch and assume that that's also you, think about what you're saying before you type it. If you said that to somebody's face and you could justifiably be punched in your face, don't type that. I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't be my play, personally. And especially if that person is 17 or 18 years old and that person, like, you have to learn how to take criticism in your life. Because that's not easy to do. When people criticize you constructively, you have to learn how to take that. When people just make fun of you, you have to learn how to take that. And people act like it's not something that's even hard to do. It's just like, no, I can make fun of whoever I want. No, especially a person at Simone Biles' age, where you have to learn how to take criticism. And that's much easier to do when someone says something to your face and you have a way to react to it. You have a way to tell them, well, that's just not even nice. You know, you stand up for yourself on that one. You can't stand up to yourself on social media. Someone just takes a cheap shot and leaves. They send you a tweet. They're an egg on Twitter. And then they're out. You learn nothing. You're not able to learn how to react to that even. And it's ridiculous. And if you're also 18 and you're tweeting again at Simone Biles and she's 18, that's still not good. Don't do that. You're forming bad habits. But if you're grown and you're tweeting stuff at her, what is your problem? How do you get out of bed and walk around all day? Honestly. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and Noogaradio.com.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocks him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Here at Live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station. Hot News Talk 1240. The voice of NASCAR.
Is your career careening, maybe sagging, wheezing? Let me suggest a job with huge income potential. Dealing with people. Call Steve Jada for a confidential interview. 855-8484. 855-8484. Maybe the most important call you make all year.
Choose Exit Realty Scenic City. Need to sell your house? Want to buy another house? Choose Exit Realty Scenic City. Our goals are simple. If you're selling, we get you the best price possible in the quickest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Our agents are professional, competent, and courteous. We stay in touch every step of the way. If you're buying, we make sure you get all the information necessary to choose the right house in the right location at the best price. Exit Realty is one of the fastest growing real estate companies in North America. Our agents have extensive training, state-of-the-art technology, and full support that allows us to do the best job possible for you. If you're in the market to buy or sell, call us today. 423-551-EXIT. That's 423-551-3948. If you're an agent or considering a career in real estate, call us today. See what Exit Realty can do for you. No desk fees, residual income, technology to the max, and people first. Call us today, 551-EXIT. That's 551-3948. We're located at 7610 Hamilton Park Drive, just off the Bonnie Oaks exit. And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is a field line failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
At Eyer Optical, it's a well-known fact. When you buy one pair of glasses, you get a second pair absolutely free. But did you know Eyer Optical has the largest eyeglass selection in the area, with top-name brands and styles in the latest trends? Schedule your appointment with one of the doctors today for a comprehensive eye exam. And remember, when you buy one pair of glasses, you get a second pair absolutely free. Visit EyerOptical.com for a location near you.
Eyer Optical. Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra-large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas. You want more business. You want to increase your bottom line. You want to spend less on advertising, imaging your business, and general expenses. You need Trade Bank. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Trade Bank. Call now to get access to nearly 400 local businesses. Trade Bank. Call 877-2202. 877-2202. Trade Bank. You want to increase your cash flow, your competitive edge, attract new customers, and build a loyal customer base. You need Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call right now. 877-2202. When you join Trade Bank, you'll get the benefit of free advertising in our monthly magazine, tradebank.com, emails, and mailouts. Join Trade Bank now and receive your Trade Bank debit card with trade credits to spend any way you want with our wide variety of Trade Bank partners. For almost 30 years, Trade Bank has been your voice for small business, a member of the American Bankers Association, and in good standing with you. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call now for a free consultation, 877-2202. That's 877-2202. Trade Bank of Chattanooga.
Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots. They touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the hassle, Schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Wars come and go, but my soldiers stay eternal.
Now you can listen to Hot News Talk Radio anywhere, streaming live at Noogaradio.com. That's Noogaradio.com. Hot News Talk 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
Following Russia's hacking of the American political process,
their engagement in malicious cyber activity was unacceptable.
There are sanctions, including Russian expulsions, as this was
part of a decade-long Russian cyber campaign targeting the U.S.
This is the CBS World News Roundup, late edition. I'm Dave Barrett. Russia denied hacking during the election season, but there's no denying the sanctions that the Obama administration announced this afternoon for cyber attacks and for other harassment in Russia. We start with CBS's Cammie McCormick.
The State Department says today's actions send a clear message to Russia that such behavior is unacceptable and will have consequences. 35 Russian officials operating in the U.S. are being kicked out, given 72 hours to leave, not just for the interference in the election, but for the harassment harassment of American diplomats overseas, harassment that's increased over the last 12 months. The State Department says they've been stopped arbitrarily by police, physically assaulted, and their personal details released on Russian state TV, details that put them at risk.
The White House also announced sanctions against 4 Russians and 5 entities, which may be linked to Russian intelligence. 2 compounds in Maryland and in New York used by Russian diplomats are being shut down. That's what was publicly announced today. White House spokesman Eric Schultz.
There will be and can be responses that we might not necessarily be able to broadcast.
Correspondent Dan Raviv says in the past hour, President-elect Trump has weighed in.
Mr. Trump issued a statement that says it's time for our country to move on to bigger and better things. But in the interest of our country, he writes, he will meet next week with leaders of the intelligence community to be updated on the facts.
Perspective now from Jonathan Sanders, a retired CBS News correspondent who was, for years, based in Moscow.
Oh, this has all the odor of an old Cold War tit for tat. Russians do something bad to us, we expel some diplomats.
Vladimir Putin's spokesman says the Russian leader is considering retaliation, but, says CBS's Stephen Portnoy,
Russian officials appear to be taking this in stride. One calls the outgoing administration's actions the death throes of political corpses. The White House acknowledges President-elect Trump could reverse the sanctions and readmit the expelled Russian agents, but aides to Mr. Obama say that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
So how did the Russian hacking evolve? CBS's Jeff Pegues says in the summer of last year,
the first hacking unit, dubbed APT-29, sent out a barrage of emails containing a malicious link to over 1,000 recipients, including multiple U.S. government victims. Once someone clicked on the link, the hackers were in the system. According to the document, the hackers successfully compromised the U.S. political party and stole email from several accounts.
Checking Wall Street, the Dow was down 14. Now this.
See something? Smell something? Do something. When your basement or crawl space smells, don't ignore it. Odors, mold, and harmful pollutants come from too much moisture and not enough air circulation, making your home unhealthy. Do something. Call Wave Home Solutions today at 1-888-964-9283 or go to dryhousenow.com. Experts recommend ventilation instead of dehumidifiers to reduce moisture and expel harmful gases and pollutants. Wave moisture control units continuously dry out your home, transforming it into a fresher, healthier environment year-round. Wave units cost only pennies a day to operate, and there are no buckets to empty. Call Wave today at 1-888-964-9283 or go to dryhousenow.com. That's dryhousenow.com or call 1-888-964-9283.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
The deal brokered by Russia and Turkey was supposed to result in a Syrian ceasefire. It's been in effect for a couple of hours now. To Istanbul, where CBS's Holly Williams has this perspective.
The idea is that if this ceasefire holds, it could lead to peace talks in January. But there are some caveats. There are dozens of opposition or rebel groups currently fighting in Syria. And some of them have told us that they have not agreed to this ceasefire.
About an hour after the ceasefire took effect, observers say that gunfire has been heard in southern Syria. Today in New York City,
Drum roll, please.
they tested the New Year's Eve confetti launcher, and 2 nights from now in Times Square, Mayor Bill de Blasio can look out at the crowd.
We expect, as per usual, over 1 million people. I'm not quite sure why 1 million people want to stand in the freezing cold for long, long periods of time, but they do. And we'll be ready.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Here's what advertisers are saying about AM 1240. HotNewsTalkRadio.com.
Radio station, they really care. They're always calling me probably once a week, checking on me, seeing how things going, see if they want to change any of the ads or do anything different, seeing what my needs are. I've gotten business off the ads that you do for me, and seems to be working well at this point.
Prices were very fair. Areas in this town that we aren't able to get other ways, your radio station is able to help us out, and I really appreciate that.
We've been very pleased with the services we've got. It seems like everybody over there cares
about what they're going to do, how it's going to work for us on this end. And we've been very impressed with the creativity of the ads that we've heard, and they always seem to be right on point, even without us having to come up with what's going to be said.
Been doing business with News Talk Radio for quite some time. It's the best place and the best value you can get for your advertisement. The commercials are great. They're very professional. I was actually blown away.
The commercial that they put together was awesome. It was way far above all the other radio stations we've dealt with. The best we've had yet, guarantee you, by far.
AM 1240 HotNewsTalkRadio.com gets results. Let us get results for your business. For no obligation free consultation, call General Sales Manager Steve Johnson. Call 423-240-5459. That's 240-5459. Or you can always email Steve at NoogaRadioSteve@gmail.com. That's NoogaRadioSteve@gmail.com. AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We get results.
You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com. It is hour 2 of the show, and you know what time it is. It's the Clutch Community Corner, and so we're now preparing for our still yet jingle-less segment.
I thought I was going to get a jingle for Christmas. You know what I got?
An intro spoken by me.
We can be like spoken word. Snap, snap, snap. This is the Snap Community Snap Corner. Snap, snap, snap.
I mean, the fact that you have to say the snaps, though, takes away from it just a little bit.
I mean, we don't have like a soundbite or anything to actually put the snaps in.
We could have gotten that, too.
Santa, you were slacking, man.
But, you know,
we've been good this year.
We don't have actual snaps. We don't have a jingle. But you know, we do have a fantastic guest on the line. And so I'll allow you to introduce her.
Awesome. I'm super excited. So today on the Clutch Community Corner, we have the one, the only, the fantastic Angel Roddy, assistant coach with the Infinite Twirl Club. Hey, Angel, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's the weather where you are? It's been bipolar out here.
Yeah, it's really cold.
Cool. How was your holiday?
It was good. Got to spend time with family. How was yours?
It was good. I got to go to DC, and I had a lot. I'm actually wearing a T-shirt right now. Those of you who can see that says "I love DC" because I went to DC and I got a free T-shirt because I brought my sister a sweatshirt. It just came with the package. Everything's gonna be like super expensive next week for inauguration, right? Or next month for the inauguration. So I bought stuff today. So speaking of fun stuff and cool things and getting the spin on things, the Infinite Twirl Club. I'm super excited. So the holidays are in session, and you were talking to me about this twirl club. What is it? What is it?
Infinite Twirl Club is baton twirling, pretty much. Me and the owner of the club twirled together when we were kids, and we've known each other ever since. And she decided to branch out and start her own company. And she asked me to come help her because we started growing like crazy from the first year, and now we're on our third year, so she needed extra help. So
that is exciting. Okay. So for people who are noobs to the idea of baton twirling, can you tell me what baton twirling is?
Baton twirling is twirling a baton, pretty much, but it's more than just that. It's fun for girls because, you know, they get to dress up in costumes and do their makeup, and little girls feel really fabulous when they get to do that. But you also get to build as a team, and you get to make friendships that last you for a lifetime. So besides the fact that you get to compete and travel and do all that fun stuff, you make friends that pretty much never go away. So
that is awesome. Okay, so let's jump back for a little bit. You said you and the owner. Who is the owner of the Infinite Twirl Club?
Her name is Tori Smith, and yeah.
Tori Smith and Angel Roddy, the coach and assistant coach of the Infinite Twirl Club. So I guess I'm curious. My interest is super super piqued with the idea of baton twirling. So is this kind of like a skill? Like, what kind of things would you need coaching on for baton twirling?
It's a skill, but we start off as beginners, and the youngest beginner we have right now is 3 years old, and she just so happens to be my niece. So of course I'm biased and think she's the cutest baton twirler ever. But you start practicing, and we teach you tricks, and you just improve, and it goes along with ballet in some sort. It's a lot of grace, and it's really fun, and all the girls seem to love it. So
that's awesome. So describe for me in painful detail what one of the coolest tricks that you can teach is.
We teach girls, once they get advanced enough, how to juggle free baton, and they can do tricks with it, and they also can learn how to do fire baton, which Tori is a beast at.
Fire baton? Like the baton is on fire?
Yeah, the ends are on fire.
Really? So how do you not get burned with a fire baton?
You have to keep it moving at all times. If you stop, you're going to lose your arm hair.
Oh.
Possibly your eyebrows.
So it sounds kind of dangerous. Wow. So baton twirling isn't for the weak at heart. That's what I'm hearing. So this is pretty cool. So you mentioned that it is a group for young girls. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe some of the girls who are in your program?
Well, one of the girls, she is in elementary school, and her mom drives her down every other week from Knoxville to twirl with us up to Saudi Daisy. And we have another girl who's really good at art. And so in between like breaks at practice, she'll just start drawing, and she can draw stuff like nobody's business. We have a girl that's a UTC majorette, and she coaches with us, and she twirls for us some. But all the girls are really talented, and they're all really close, and they get along really great, which is awesome because it keeps us drama free.
So again, you're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose. This is the Clutch Community Corner on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Nooga Radio. And we are talking with Angel Roddy from the Infinite Twirl Club in Hickson. This is the assistant coach, and she is sharing with us some of the crazy cool things that baton twirling actually is. So we're talking about maybe some of the girls on the team. Can you tell me how many girls you have on the team?
On the team, we have 6, and we have 13 beginners. So we have 19 girls total.
Wow. That's huge. So are these girls who are in school? Like, what does that look like? What does the day of a twirler look like?
A lot of the girls, like I said, the youngest is 3, and the oldest is in middle school besides the UTC majorette. And we usually practice on Thursday evenings and Tuesdays. And they all go to school, and then they come to baton practice.
Okay. So what do you practice for?
We practice for competitions. We travel and compete, and we practice for parades. And we have a recital in March that the girls get to perform at, which is really exciting for the beginner girls because they don't really get to compete as much as the more advanced girls.
Sure. So you mentioned like the UTC majorette. Like, are there like levels? Like, do the levels have titles? Can you break that down for us a little bit?
What do you mean? Do they have titles?
Like majorette, is that a title within the twirl?
Oh, it's yeah, it is. She marches with the band, and there's a group of them, and they all twirl for like the halftime event at football and basketball game.
Cool. So you all play for
like a school twirler, not just a play around practice twirler.
So this is twirling that can be done like for schools, like you said, with the bands and things like that. So do you have like guys? Is your club open to guys as well?
We don't have any guys, but there are male twirlers. There's some, when I was younger and competed with baton, there were some guy twirlers who are on the world team, and they go to different countries and compete, and they're all really amazing. But we personally do not have guy twirlers.
Gotcha. But you are open to having guy twirlers?
Yes.
Cool. So again, you're listening to Hot News Talk Radio. This is Clutch with Keon Rose, Clutch Community Corner. I'm Jay, and we are talking with Angel Roddy, assistant coach with the Infinite Twirl Club here in Hickson, Tennessee. And we're super excited because, Angel, you were just kind of blowing the top off for us about twirling and what is involved with twirling. And we have our own twirl club right here. So can you tell us maybe about some of the things that people should know but maybe don't about twirling?
It's a lot harder than it looks. A lot of people, when they find out that I used to do baton or that I coach baton, they're like, oh, that's so easy. And then they find out that it's really not as easy as it looks. But it takes skill and patience and practice and dedication to pick up on some of the tricks. And
that's really cool. So you mentioned that you were a twirler, that you twirled the baton back in the day. So what can you tell us about your experience from then and what that looks like now as you coach?
It's a lot different. You don't have to practice as much, so you can sit there and tell them how to do stuff that you maybe have lost, which is kind of cool because I don't have to prove that I can still do the trick. My body is too old and decrepit to be able to do those tricks anymore.
You were
but
so funny.
They can do them, and that's what matters. But I did twirl. I was a Loftus majorette in middle school, and my mom gave me my first baton when I was about 4 years old, and she used to march me around the garage and teach me routines and stuff that she used to do in high school.
That is really, really cool. So, okay, you mentioned that you all practice for events. You mentioned that some of the events that you go to are like competitions, and some of your twirlers have the ability, or sometimes you all are able to do halftime shows. What are some of the coolest things lately that you and the Twirl Club have been to?
The coolest thing, in my opinion, would be over the summer we went to Myrtle Beach to compete, and it was called Grand Champs on the Grand Strand. And it was a really fun atmosphere. It was really competitive, but the girls had a lot of fun. And then after the competition, we all got to go to the beach and kind of hang out. It was good for the girls to build as a team and get to hang out outside of practice.
That is really cool. So what was that like, traveling from here to there? How did you go? Did you take private car? Like, what was that like going?
We all traveled separately, pretty much. But it was really fun. We all, like I said, we all got to hang out. We got to go to dinner together. We celebrated after the competition when the girls got their trophies. And it was stressful for being in the car that long because I'm really restless in the car. But it was still really fun.
That is really cool. So you mentioned fun a lot. And again, we're listening to Hot News Talk Radio. This is Clutch with Keon Rose. This is the Clutch Community Corner. And this is Jay. And we are talking with Angel Roddy, the assistant coach of the Infinite Twirl Club here in Hickson, Tennessee. We are super excited. And I'm learning a lot about baton twirling, things that I literally never thought that I would ever know. So Angel, okay, so you're telling us a little bit about this time where the twirlers went down to Myrtle Beach to compete, which was super cool. Tell us a little bit maybe about some of the challenges that rise when you all are trying to travel or traveling.
One of the craziest challenges is that sometimes we have people that forget their batons, even though they're going to a baton competition. So whenever we send out the packing list, we're like, don't forget your batons. This has actually happened. And so you'd be surprised at how many girls get there and they're like, oh no, my baton's all the way in Chattanooga and we're 8 hours away from there.
That's crazy. Okay.
And then you have your occasional meltdowns of the girls, but we get them through it, and that's what matters.
So I'm assuming that even though that this is a baton twirling club, there's some life skills kind of put in there. Would you agree?
Yes.
That's awesome. So, I mean, tell us maybe a little bit about some of the things that are outside of baton twirling that maybe you think that these kiddos are getting from being a part of this group.
For our teen girls, we really stress the fact that, you know, you have to work as a team, and outside of baton, you're going to have to work as a team, whether it's in school or when you grow up and you get a job, like you're always going to be a part of a team. And so we stress to them that if one person performs badly or does something that's not necessarily okay, it's going to reflect on the team. But if one person does something amazing, then it's also going to reflect on the team.
Gotcha. That's really cool. That's really important too. So what can you say about there's like a thing beeping. I can totally hear something beeping. You sound like you're in the middle of like a toaster oven, like just.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's totally funny. I don't know why like a toaster oven is the first thing that came to my mind. I heard beeping and I was like, toaster oven! That would be like a toaster oven on fire. Clearly I'm great with toaster ovens. Anyway, that being said, my question to you about the twirlers, and again, you're listening to Hot News Talk Radio. This is Clutch with Keon Rose, the Clutch Community Corner. You're listening to Jay, the toast burner, and Angel Roddy, the assistant coach of the Infinite Troll Club. And we're talking about the Troll Club and some of the cool things that these kiddos get to take away from the program. Can you say a little bit, Angel, about what you think is the biggest benefit that these kiddos are taking away at large from the Twirl Club experience? Mm-hmm.
For me, personally, and I know it affects these girls too because of the friendships that they have, but me and the owner of the company have actually been friends for 12 years, and we've been through so much stuff. And so they're always going to have like that one friend that's there no matter what, that they can say, oh yeah, we met back at baton practice, so many years ago. And you just build friendships, which is awesome for girls as they're growing up.
That is really cool. Well, we're coming up on the last few minutes here. So as we kind of start wrapping up, I guess my first question to you is, what would you want the community to know? Like anything that you all have coming up anytime soon that we can join you with? What would you like us to know about the Troll Club?
Like I said, there's a recital in March, and admission is free. We usually do a door prize, and we have a donations bucket that you can put money in, so that way the girls, it goes towards their traveling fees, and it gets split up between everybody. You can email the Infinite Twirl Club at yahoo.com to get more information on that because the details aren't completely set yet. And you can also get information from that email about prices and times and registration days and stuff like that.
Okay, so couple questions. Okay, so you mentioned that there's a recital coming on in March, and that's super cool. You mentioned that the admissions are free. That's super, super cool. Can you tell us where it's going to be? Do you have that information yet?
It's going to be in Hickson for sure. We usually contact churches, and they'll donate their gyms to us for either practice or recitals or pretty much anything as long as our schedules match up.
Cool. So
more
more
the community really helps us out by letting us use their church gyms for free.
That's really cool. So do you have like a Facebook or a web page or a Facebook or something where we could find that information? Keep checking in.
We do. It's we're on Facebook under Infinite Twirl Club. I believe it's in Hickson, Tennessee, if you search by the city.
Okay. So you mentioned the email. What exactly is the email?
It goes to Tori, who's the owner, and she tries to reply as quick as she can, but she just had a baby, so
sure, cool.
Babies come first.
Yes.
And you can just email her any questions you have, whether you want more information or anything, and she'll reply to you as quick as she can and just answer all your questions for you.
Gotcha. So is that Infinite Twirl Club at yahoo.com or the Infinite Twirl Club at yahoo.com?
Just Infinite Twirl Club at yahoo.com.
Infinite Twirl Club at yahoo.com. Well, Angel, we're coming down to like the last minute of the show. So, what is it that you would like us to take away from this interview? What would you like us to know? And I know that's like a big question, but you can totally break it down however you need to break it down.
Just that it takes a lot of dedication and hard work and practice, and there's been some blood, sweat, and tears that go into these girls' practices, and they work really hard. So if you ever see them in a parade or a recital or a competition or anything, be sure to give us a shout out because they work their butts off for these performances.
That's really cool. Oh, super quick question. You mentioned that you all were in some parade. Is that true? What parade were you all in lately?
We were in the Red Bank Christmas Parade, and we were supposed to be in the Saudi one, but it got canceled due to the weather.
So you have the recital in March. Any other parades or games that you have scheduled right now, or not so much?
Not that I know of. Tori usually schedules that stuff. I'm just like her sidekick, and I help her out the best that I can.
Gotcha.
So you would just have to contact her on Facebook or email.
That is awesome. Well, we are up on the last 30 seconds. In the event that any of you twirlers happen to watch this interview, Angel, is there anything you want to say to your girls?
That I love them and I miss them and I'm really proud of them. And I'll see them next Thursday for practice, so they better be ready.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Angel, so much. And I look forward to speaking with you more.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Angel Roddy, this is Clutch with Keon Rose, AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, and Nooga Radio. This is Jay, Clutch Community Corner. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for learning with me about the Infinite Twirl Club. That is so cool.
I did learn a lot about twirling as well. Not that I knew anything previously, so I had a place to start from.
Right.
Also, and coming up, we're going to be talking about Matt Ryan, why he should be the MVP of the National Football League. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240, NoogaRadio.com.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
In 1240 Nooga Radio News, Russell Stroud reporting. The Hamilton County School Board has been discussing what to do about Durham school services. Should they renew the contract in June or should they look for other avenues? Well, here's what's new. Durham School Services has made some meaningful changes to how they run things. For example, they've got cameras which point at the driver now, in addition to the 3 cameras inside their school buses by default. And they've also conducted interviews with each and every driver on their team. As for the school board, some members are looking at private contractors as bus drivers, which they say may be more reliable. But so far, a conclusive decision has not been made. And 2 nights ago, Koisha Ford, who was shot in the head when she was 13 back in 2012, has died at 8 o'clock p.m. 2 nights ago. A new area is being scoured by rescuers trying to find Bradley Powell, who's been missing since December the 7th. Now they're looking in the area of Suck Creek and River Canyon Road. The Tennessee Highway Patrol has lent the use of a helicopter for the search. Evidence collected yesterday will be processed today, and hopefully new information will be found. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Nooga Radio News.
Staying mostly clear and breezy out there through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows near freezing. For Friday, sunshine, still chilly, highs mid, maybe upper 40s. Tomorrow night, cold and frosty again with increasing clouds. Saturday, high staying into the 40s with rain returning by New Year's Eve night. For the largest selection of fireworks, check out Exit 1A Fireworks, a Black Cat dealer with great prices. Pop a rocket, not your pocket with Exit 1A Fireworks, open daily off I-75 on Ringgold Road in East Ridge. And I'm Sports 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
How about we change that to built in the USA? For over 21 years, Affordable Computers has been building computers right here in the good old USA, in Chattanooga, using the highest quality parts and components in every new computer they build. Tell us the exact system you need, we'll build it to your specifications. Or you can choose from a wide selection of our PCs and laptops, starting at under $200. All Affordable Computers are upgradable, guaranteed. Affordable Computers services their computers in store, typically within 1 to 3 days. And when you call, they answer the phone. You get support within minutes that you can understand. Affordable Computers of Chattanooga. And service and support extends for the life of the computer, not just for the warranty of the PC. So there's no reason to shop anywhere else. Call Affordable Computers now on Highway 58 Chattanooga, 423-499-1975. That's 423-499-1975.
Or visit our Fort O store, 706-858-5888.
There's a reason why Alliance Physical Therapy is a choice of professionals and those who care about first-class, top-notch service and treatment. Because at Alliance Physical Therapy of Chattanooga, we don't just treat the symptoms in your body. Whether you're suffering from stiffness, muscle spasms, back pain, chronic headaches every day, stress of life demanding more and more of you, Alliance Physical Therapy takes a holistic approach to healing mind, body, and soul. Alliance Physical Therapy with a location near you and 9 others in the Chattanooga area. If you don't have a doctor or if your physician's plan for chronic pain is not working, Alliance Physical Therapy will help. Visit Alliance Physical Therapy on the web at nopainpt.com. That's nopainpt.com. Alliance Physical Therapy. And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
This hasn't been a great year if you're LeBron James and bets. LeBron lost his first bet that we're aware of this year. The Chicago Cubs beat the Cleveland Indians to win the World Series. LeBron James had to wear a Cubs jersey to work, which is, it has to be humiliating, obviously, for a guy that's, quite frankly, the reason why Cleveland sports matter these days. And so, yeah, he wears the Cubs jersey. Dwayne Wade, his buddy, now playing in Chicago, just taking pictures and sending it out there to the world. And LeBron James on Instagram he lost a bet with his son. He lost a game of Pong with LeBron Jr. and had to eat raw garlic as the result of that bet. And I don't even know how it is that you allow your children to coerce you into a bet like that one. But LeBron James, man of his word. You can't say that that's a guy that welches on bets. LeBron James ate raw garlic, said that bleep is hot, and that's the video, and the reaction is priceless, and it's just LeBron James being grossed out on video. So you can probably find that online if you care to. So, as you know, I have been a big proponent of Ezekiel Elliott winning the MVP award, and I still think that he ought to win it. I just think that he is so crucial to the Cowboys' success and what it is that they do. If he doesn't win the award, it's not a crime. I just think that he is clearly the best. He's clearly the most valuable player to his team. But again, who you think is the MVP is in large part a part of a function of what conversation you want to have. Is the MVP the guy who is most valuable to the league? Because if the MVP is the guy that's most valuable to the National Football League, you turn around and you give that award to Tom Brady because it's him like every year. If the award goes to the best player or the player most valuable to his team, you take him off his team and replace him with a guy of average production. How good is that team? You take Ezekiel Elliott off of the Cowboys and replace him with a player of average production. I promise you, this team is not locked up the NFC. This team is nowhere near as dominant as they are, as Ezekiel Elliott leads the NFL both in first down yardage picked up. He picks up first downs like crazy, and
in terms of being a long distance runner, a guy that can make big plays. 14 rushes of 20 yards or more for Ezekiel Elliott. He leads the league in both of those statistical categories. You can't replace that guy with somebody average. That's with somebody that can't provide that same level of production and look at the Cowboys and go, yeah, this team still makes the playoffs or comes close. I mean, you have Dak Prescott playing at a very high level, but someone added another wrinkle. They added another function to this conversation that I had not previously considered, which is which player is the most valuable at the position that they play. Right? Like if you had to give an award, because the MVP award, unfortunately, has devolved into this. The MVP award has devolved into who's the best quarterback in the league. We don't see wide receivers, running backs, linebackers able to generate the kind of numbers, the kind of press, the kind of viewing that it takes to win a most valuable player in the league award. But if you were to go, who's the most valuable running back in the league? It's Ezekiel Elliott. But Ezekiel Elliott's not that far ahead of Shady McCoy. Ezekiel Elliott is not that far ahead of Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon Bell missed 3 games. Shady McCoy and Le'Veon Bell are functions of the system in which they play. Le'Veon Bell has less rushing yards in large part because, and here's an area where he smokes Ezekiel Elliott. As a pass catcher, he is more valuable to the Steelers. The Steelers replaced their running game in a lot of instances with short passes to Le'Veon Bell, who still ends up being a very potent and very important part of the offense that they're running. And so in that regard, how far is Ezekiel Elliott from the other running backs? He's not that far. He's still very valuable, but he's not that far. But you could make a case that Matt Ryan is further than the quarterbacks, Brady, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. Those are the 3 names you have to talk about this season. He's far enough from the other quarterbacks. He's further from the other quarterbacks than Ezekiel Elliott is from the other running backs. Because the other running backs are also pass catchers on their teams. Ezekiel Elliott isn't. And so when you add the passing yards, add the receiving yards to those guys, they're actually very comparable to Ezekiel Elliott. I just think a running back ought to run. But they're very comparable. They're all in the same neighborhood there. And when you look at the numbers for Rodgers and Ryan, and look at the numbers for Brady and Ryan, what you end up seeing are 2 very close races. But where Matt Ryan beats Brady and where Matt Ryan beats Rodgers and where he even beats Derek Carr is this. He beats them in efficiency. Number 2 to Matt Ryan in every statistical category regarding efficiency is Tom Brady. And if you're number 2 in that many categories, I don't think you're the most valuable player in the league. League in yards per attempt, Matt Ryan, number 1, Tom Brady, number 2. In quarterback rating, Matt Ryan, number 1, Tom Brady, number 2. In quarterback rating, in QBR, rather, which is confusing that there's quarterback rating and then there's QBR, but it calculates some things that quarterback rating can't. And Tom Brady is number 3 behind Dak Prescott and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's still number 1 on that one. If you're going to be number 2 in that many statistical categories, then this year you're number 2. That's about it. You're number 2. And Matt Ryan is way more efficient than Aaron Rodgers, in large part because the Packers started off the season so horribly, and Aaron Rodgers got better and more efficient as the season went on, but they did not start well enough for Aaron Rodgers to beat Matt Ryan in the efficiency conversation. And then all the other stats end up being very comparable. And at that point, I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan being able to play the quarterback position and not Andy Dalton himself. And by that, I mean Andy Dalton looks like a good NFL quarterback until bloops, AJ Green's injured. AJ Green gets hurt. AJ Green is that offense. When AJ Green gets hurt, Andy Dalton can't play quarterback. He looks like a really bad quarterback. Julio Jones goes down, and Julio Jones and AJ Green are in that conversation of like, there's like 4 or 5 receivers where you just have this. It's AJ, it's Julio, it's Dez, it's Odell. Amari Cooper will be there shortly. You have those conversations, and those guys are the 5 guys that come up. Julio goes down for Atlanta, and Julio is a monster. Julio is a certified beast. But you know what? Matt Ryan doesn't skip a beat. Matt Ryan doesn't get less efficient without Julio. Because when Julio was playing at the beginning of the season, he didn't play well for the first 3 weeks, but from week 3 onward, he played lights out football. But it didn't matter because Matt Ryan was distributing the ball to like 6 different receivers every game. He was finding targets all over the field. He was never overly reliant on Julio to begin with. So the moment Julio sees single coverage, him and Matt Ryan are on the same page, and they just destroy you. If you don't double cover Julio, you lose. But you double cover him, and Matt Ryan is such a good quarterback. He is finding everybody. He deserves to be the MVP of this league. And I think it should be Ezekiel Elliott. But if Matt Ryan won it, this is not one of those MVP races where it's a crime. Like Cam Newton last year, despite the fact that he wasn't the most efficient quarterback, but he had 10 rushing touchdowns to add to, I believe, the 35 touchdowns that he threw for. The 10 rushing touchdowns made him head and shoulders the MVP of the league. Nobody can provide what Cam Newton provided the Panthers last year on offense. And so when you look at all of those things, if Cam Newton didn't win the MVP award last year, that was about to be a crime. That dude got robbed. Needs to call the police, file a report. He ended up winning it as he should have. Matt Ryan doesn't win it this year. I don't think it's robbery. The only quarterback I think that shouldn't have a chance of really winning it, even though I hear his name batted around, is Rodgers. I don't think Rodgers played enough all year to really do it. And I think Brady missing 4 games, you got to play the whole season to me if you're going to be the MVP of the league. I get it, but like the fact that you missed games and then you came back and the team didn't really miss you. They went 3-1 without you. I don't think you can be the MVP and then you're second to Matt Ryan in every efficiency category. I'm going to go with Ryan over you. And I feel like Derek Carr grew leaps and bounds every week throughout the season, but he did have a rough patch there for about 4 games from about week, I want to say 11 to week 14 or 15, where he just looked kind of average. Like the team won and they were still playing well, but Derek Carr didn't look like, oh, this guy's the MVP. This guy's the best player in the league, hands down. So that stretch of games for Derek Carr, Brady missing 4 games at the beginning of the season, Aaron Rodgers starting off slow, and Ezekiel Elliott being a good running back, a great running back this season, but not being head and shoulders above the rest of the position, I think Matt Ryan ought to be the MVP of the league. And if it's him or Ezekiel Elliott, to me, that's a very close call. I'm going to say Elliott, but Matt Ryan should be right there. And I'd like what that would do to the Falcons in Atlanta, in Georgia. Everybody already likes the Cowboys, but the Falcons, Atlanta as a fan base is such a fickle fan base. As the Falcons, to kind of have that extra attention drawn to you where your quarterback is the MVP of the league. And by the way, I hear conversations about Matt Ryan all the time about, is he or is he not our guy? when you have a guy that's a franchise quarterback, why do you have this conversation so frequently? I'd love for him to be able to put that story to bed. And also, if somehow the Falcons could get it together and win a Super Bowl, that would be absolutely huge. And I've liked Matt Ryan since he's entered the league. So for me, that would just be, I have his rookie card. That's just one of those things. I do collect cards. I have Matt Ryan's rookie card. That would just be really cool for me. I've liked Matt Ryan since he's entered the league. So that is the MVP discussion, which is not going to get easier to decide as we move forward here. But I think that Matt Ryan or Elliott should win it. I would go with Elliott, but if Matt Ryan won it, I've been convinced that there's a case for him to win it. I'm one of those guys, I can't change my opinions. I think people should change their opinions in life. If you have an opinion that you can't change, then that's a fact. And you shouldn't have facts that you just feel. You should be able to have opinions that can change. That's part of evolving as a person. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and NoogaRadio.com. So a little bit of the fight game here. A little bit of the fight game coming down to the wire of the show. And then I will give you my Peach Bowl and Fiesta Bowl picks as well as Georgia and Tennessee's game tomorrow. But one, Conor McGregor fires a shot at Floyd Mayweather. It's a picture of him with boxing gloves on, and it just says, I'm going to break his face. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because it should be readily obvious, right? That Conor McGregor is just doing this for the publicity and for the money. This fight is probably never going to happen, though. Me, like other fight fans, would just love to see it happen. My personal motives being to have Conor McGregor's face rearranged in a ring. Conor McGregor is a heavy-handed puncher. He's able to tag guys. But the reason why Conor McGregor is such a great puncher in MMA, in the UFC, is because mixed martial arts is a difficult sport. You have to account for a lot of things. A person can beat you in more ways than just a knockout. A person can beat you in such a large variety of ways that, in fact, when you look at some of the worst losses I've seen in the UFC, I've seen leg breaks. I've seen guys just getting choked out. I've seen arm bars that have gone horribly. So at this point, like, you can lose in so many different horrifying ways. You don't just look out for your head. And that gives Conor McGregor the opening. But let me put it this way. Floyd Mayweather is not going to be knocked out by no Conor McGregor. And here's how I know this. Manny Pacquiao is, because I'm 26 years old and I don't have the deep history of having seen great boxers in the past. I've watched some fights with my dad from back in the day, but other than that, I don't have this. Manny Pacquiao is the fastest puncher I've ever seen in my life. And Floyd Mayweather looked like a ghost with Manny Pacquiao trying to catch him. Looked like Manny Pacquiao was trying to hit a ghost and was not having any success whatsoever. Looked like he was trying to hit a ghost. If Manny Pacquiao can't do it, and I'm not talking about knock him out, break his face, hurt him. If Manny Pacquiao can't make contact, Conor McGregor, who is not going to be throwing punches from those weird angles that Pacquiao throws punches, and is not going to be throwing punches at the high volume that Pacquiao would have been throwing punches, is not going to beat Floyd Mayweather in a fight, break his face or otherwise. I would still pay the pay-per-view to watch that. I understand, but Conor McGregor understands the fight game. That's why this is all happening. I don't even think Conor McGregor wants the fight to happen. He just knows it's not. So I'm just going to build up my brand and my publicity. And then if it should ever happen, then I'm going to make all the money off the pay-per-view also. So you've got both of those things. Another thing, UFC 207, December 30th, Ronda Rousey. She is more fit than she was when she was fighting last time. This is a must-win fight for Rousey. This is the fight that either puts her back on track to where she was or kind of defines her legacy. And I think that she can still come back from a loss even in this fight. Sets her back in a way that she doesn't get that invincibility back. Like when we finally saw Tiger Woods lose and then other golfers were like, oh no, he's not unbeatable. There wasn't that psychological level of I'm done on Sunday if Tiger Woods is ahead of me even by one stroke. That that's hard to get back once you lose it. If Ronda beats, she's fighting Amanda Nunes. If she beats Amanda Nunes silly, then the invincibility's back. It's just, oh, that was one fight. I took my time off. I took my time away from the sport, and now I'm back, y'all. Yeah, that is going to be tough to top. It's going to be tough to top. But at the same time, if she loses that fight, that invincibility that she once held, that's going to be smoke. I mean, there's going to be anybody who's afraid of Ronda Rousey. My issue is that the criticism of her is that she's always been super athletic, but she hasn't ever been a great fighter. So sure, does she look fit? Does she look better than she did before? And she didn't look bad before. Yeah, but is she a better fighter now? Can she box you? Right? That ground game better. But that's what's left to be seen with Ronda Rousey. And so now we've got the last, couple of minutes here. We're going to talk a little bit of football because Tennessee plays Nebraska tomorrow. Talked a lot about it yesterday, so I won't go too far into it. I think the Vols get the win against Nebraska. Pretty good Nebraska team, but I think Tennessee has to get the win. I think they've gotten the time to get healthy. Health was one of the issues that really held them down. And it's a must-win game for the Vols, and I think they actually do go out there and win it. I do think that Georgia also beats TCU. This sounds like homer picks. It kind of is, but it really isn't. TCU doesn't play any defense. I've watched TCU. I've watched lots of TCU games because I'm a Big 12 guy. TCU does not defend a soul. This is the weakest that their offense has been in a while. I think the Bulldogs can get in there, get their win. Those are the two bowl games tomorrow. The Fiesta Bowl, I'm really looking forward to. Ohio State, Clemson. I think that's the highlight of the playoff so far. And I'm going to go with Clemson. My gut's telling me Clemson. Deshaun Watson's had an amazing year. He's gotten better as the season's gone on. He's going to be hard to slow down. And I think Alabama beats Washington, but I think you all knew that one. I don't think that was a shock there. Washington's going to give him a good game, though. I think it's going to be a good game. Chris Peterson is one of the more underrated coaches in college football. He doesn't get the national pub. When you look at the other three coaches, those are all name brand coaches. Dabo Swinney, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer. Chris Peterson is every bit in that conversation. You're listening to Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and Noogaradio.com. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch. I'll see you all next week.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Truex Jr. is off the pace and he is headed to the pit lane. Elliott powers around the outside. Michael McDowell pops a right front tire. Here's Martin Truex to the bottom. Blaney blocked him off too. Meanwhile, Chase Elliott went 4 wide on the back straightaway. They're side by side for the lead.
Hear it live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Fox News Talk 1240.
The voice of NASCAR. Is your career careening, maybe sagging, wheezing? Let me suggest a job with huge income potential. Dealing with people. Call Steve or Jada for a confidential interview. 855-8484. 855-8484. Maybe the most important call you make all year.
Choose Exit Realty Scenic City. Need to sell your house? Want to buy another house? Choose Exit Realty Scenic City. Our goals are simple. If you're selling, we get you the best price possible in the quickest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Our agents are professional, competent, and courteous. We stay in touch every step of the way. If you're buying, we make sure you get all the information necessary to choose the right house in the right location at the best price. Exit Realty is one of the fastest growing real estate companies in North America. Our agents have extensive training, state-of-the-art technology, and full support that allows us to do the best job possible for you. If you're in the market to buy or sell, call us today. 423-551-EXIT. That's 423-551-3948. If you're an agent or considering a career in real estate, call us today. See what Exit Realty can do for you. No desk fees, residual income, technology to the max, and people first. Call us today, 551-EXIT. That's 551-3948. We're located at 7610 Hamilton Park Drive, just off the Bonnie Oaks exit. And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
At Eyer Optical, it's a well-known fact. When you buy one pair of glasses, you get a second pair absolutely free. But did you know Eyer Optical has the largest eyeglass selection in the area, with top-name brands and styles in the latest trends? Schedule your appointment with one of the doctors today for a comprehensive eye exam. And remember, when you buy one pair of glasses, you get a second pair absolutely free. Visit EyerOptical.com for a location near you.
Eyer Optical. Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas. You want more business. You want to increase your bottom line. You want to spend less on advertising, imaging your business, and general expenses. You need Trade Bank. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Trade Bank. Call now to get access to nearly 400 local businesses. Trade Bank. Call 877-2202. 877-2202. Trade Bank. You want to increase your cash flow, your competitive edge, attract new customers, and build a loyal customer base. You need Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call right now. 877-2202. When you join Trade Bank, you'll get the benefit of free advertising in our monthly magazine, tradebank.com.
Think of
emails,
markets
and
falling
mail-outs.
so rapidly
Join
that there are no
Trade
buyers.
Bank now.
When the debt bubble pops, that's what'll happen. The good people, as I call them, will tumble down into their own trap. Join me, David Tulis, each weekday at 9. Together, let's consider solutions to national breakdown. Where do you fit in? Can you preserve capital? Increase it even among family members and small businesses here in Chattanooga. 9 o'clock, David Tulis, News Talk Radio. Can we wring opportunity from calamity? Will Chattanooga's prosper amid the death of centralization and its legacy system with its Yankee presidents, 1040 forms, foreign wars, death mills, soul-killing schools, and its grinding the poor court systems? Nooga centrists such as I say yes. We say near is better than far, small better than big, personal than corporate, physical than abstract. Could these claims possibly be true? Are they seeds for future plantings and harvests? Let's find out. David Tulis, 9 weekdays.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Hi, this is Jerry Recco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, and myself for all the action.
News Talk 1240.
If it's the NFL, it's right here.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the Southern states. The day of us passed away would be our national holiday.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
CBS News. I'm Matt Piper. Election campaign hacking. President Obama says it happened at the hands of Russia, and he did something about it today.
U.S. intelligence agencies say the Russians were engaged in an effort to harm Hillary Clinton's campaign, thereby helping the campaign of President-elect Donald Trump. The administration's retaliatory actions mean the 35 government officials from the Russian embassy in D.C. and the Russian consulate in San Francisco have to leave the country within 72 hours. Schultz says they cannot hide.
Well, all their credentials will be revoked, so they won't be able to. They'll have no protections here. They'll have no diplomatic immunity here. They will be persona non grata, so they will have to leave the country.
That's correspondent Chip Reed traveling with the president in Hawaii. Trump responded, saying it's time for the country to move on to bigger and better things. Political analyst Larry Sabato.
There's a great gulf here between Trump and not just the Democrats, but the Republicans. Most of the senators and House members who've spoken out about this have been very clear in their condemnation of Russia and its actions during the election campaign.
Trump says he'll meet with leaders of the intelligence community next week. Another ceasefire is in effect in Syria, but it's already been broken 2 hours after it went into effect, according to rebel forces. It's in response to 6 years of civil war there. CBS News correspondent Holly Williams is in Turkey with what the truce does not include.
This only involves the regime and parts of the opposition. So that's two sides in what has become, after more than 5 years of fighting, a multi-sided conflict. This ceasefire deal does not include ISIS, and it also does not include a powerful Kurdish group that operates in Syria's northeast and now controls swaths of land in that area.
Preps ahead of this weekend's festivities in Times Square in the form of garbage trucks. They'll be there to stop truck driving attackers like those in Germany and France. The 65 garbage collection and sand trucks along Times Square's perimeter are meant to stop would-be assailants from plowing trucks into the crowd of 1 million people. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio today.
We expect, as per usual, over 1 million people. I'm not quite sure why 1 million people want to stand in the freezing cold for long periods of time, but they do. And we'll be ready for them.
Temperature in New York, New Year's Eve, 38 degrees. Serena Williams is soon to be off the market. The tennis great announced her engagement to Alexis Ohanian on Reddit, the website her fiancé co-founded. The 35-year-old posted a poem on the social news site that she had accepted his proposal, saying he got down on one knee and popped the question with a surprise trip to Rome, which is where the two first met. Dow and S&P both closed down 14 today. NASDAQ closed down at 6 today. This is CBS News.
Getting a great night's sleep is easier and more affordable than you might think. You don't need a new expensive mattress or sleeping pills. You just need to change your sheets. Hi, I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch. We started Boll & Branch nearly 3 years ago to make the world's most comfortable sheets and to make it possible for everyone to afford to sleep better. What makes Boll & Branch sheets different is that they're meticulously crafted from pure 100% organic cotton. And because we only sell online, we've cut out all of the expensive retail markups. That's why our sheets cost less than half of what you'd pay in the store. Everyone who tries Boll & Branch sheets loves them. That's how we have thousands of 5-star reviews. The New York Times and Wall Street Journal have written about us, and even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. We guarantee you'll love them too. That's why we let you sleep on our sheets for 30 nights. If you don't, return them and get your money back. Plus, if you go to bollandbranch.com today, we'll give you $50 off your first set of sheets when you use promo code SLEEP. That's $50 off right now at bollandbranch.com. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. Promo code SLEEP. That's bollandbranch.com. Promo code SLEEP.
Are kids too safe these days? A playground designer thinks so.
It's kind of an extreme playground you don't see these days. A trampoline, a 2-story playhouse roof you jump off of, a climbing wall, a skateboard ramp. San Francisco Bay Area dad Mike Lanza created what he calls a playborhood in his backyard, and it's packed with neighborhood kids bouncing around and taking risks.
Some amount of risk is okay. I want my kids to push themselves. I want them to try things, and I want them to have fun. And, let's face it, it's no fun if there's all this safety stuff around.
Lanza has a master's degree in education and is a former Silicon Valley engineer. He wants kids to get off their screens. He thinks this is one answer. Mike Sugarman, CBS News.
Tributes pouring in for actress Debbie Reynolds, who died yesterday, one day after her daughter Carrie Fisher. Joan Collins saying she's truly heartbroken. Deborah Messing, who worked with Reynolds on Will and Grace, calls her an inspiration on every level. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Here's what advertisers are saying about AM 1240. HotNewsTalkRadio.com.
Radio station, they really care. They're always calling me probably once a week, checking on me, seeing how things going, see if they want to change any of the ads or do anything different, seeing what my needs are. I've gotten business off the ads that you do for me, and seems to be working well at this point.
Prices were very fair. Areas in this town that we aren't able to get other ways, your radio station is able to help us out, and I really appreciate that.
We've been very pleased with the services we've got. It seems like everybody over there cares about what they're going to do, how it's going to work for us on this end. And we've been very impressed with the creativity of the ads that we've heard. And they always seem to be right on point, even without us having to come up with what's going to be said.
I've been doing business with News Talk Radio for quite some time. It's the best place and the best value you can get for your advertisement. The commercials are great. They're very professional. I was actually blown away.
The commercial that they put together was awesome. It was way far above all the other radio stations we've dealt with. The best we've had yet, guarantee you, by far.
AM 1240, HotNewsTalkRadio.com gets results. Let us get results for your business. For no obligation free consultation, call General Sales Manager Steve Johnson. Call 423-240-5459. That's 240-5459. Or you can always email Steve at NoogaRadioSteve@gmail.com. That's NoogaRadioSteve@gmail.com. AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. We get results.
Sean hadn't been on in about a week more. He's going to be on. He's been burrowed in writing his book. There's so much to cover. We've got pro-white genocide professor giving no punishment despite saying massacre of whites a good thing because they agree with it. Mainstream media, some of them actually endorse this. And it's all weirdo white people doing it. Little Soros types like this Drexel University professor, Mr. Mayer, George Cicerello, is that how you say it? Mayer. Very, very proud of himself. This is all they've got, just total culture warfare. So this parasite class can just sit there getting their paychecks, giving you worthless degrees that you literally won't be able to get a job with if you're lucky. You know what you get jobs with? Construction, engineering, medical stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things you can go to college and get degrees in that are worth it. Certainly not sitting at the feet of some intellectual joke who can't even get a job in the real world, probably can't even wipe his own butt. I bet this guy doesn't even wipe his ass. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm saying that. They stink. These kind of guys want to stink. They want to make you unhappy. They want to, you know how they are. You know how these people are. Ugly, they're hunchback, spiritually hunchback. These old folks that have hunchbacks, you know what I mean? They're just, demons. And they are. I mean, it's just no end to it. He wants to kill you and your family, according to him. He's dreaming of you and your family dead, your children lined up, their throats slit, hanging by their freaking feet, so he can feel powerful. Oh, but he's not going to do the killing. He's just going to hype it up like Time Magazine and Newsweek, and then when cops get shot in the back of the head changing tires or pumping gas or giving somebody a ticket, well, these little guys go on the news and say, well, cops better readjust themselves and do what we say or more are going to die. Yeah, you don't do the killing yourself, do you, buddy? Well, let me tell you, you get your Civil War kicked off like you really want to. We've affected the battle space that if that happens, we don't want it to happen. People like you are going to get your butts handed to you real nice. Oh, you want to fight? You want to be in a man's world, huh? You fantasize about death, do you? And genocide, do you? You like that kind of stuff, Well, those of us that really instinctively, spiritually, historically, or by experience know all about mass death don't like it. But we sure know how to deal it. You're entering a man's world now, son. I guarantee you this cretin doesn't know why his life's so horrible, why he has such bad things happen to him, why nobody likes him. It's because you're scum. God doesn't like you. That's why you try to act like a man and try to act impressive and try to shoot your mouth off about death. Well, I'm sure death will visit you one day, maybe sooner than you think. It's just bad luck what you're doing, boy. We come back, we're going to get into all this and a lot more and take your phone calls. at 800-2599-231. First-time callers today. I'll ask if you have a good phone and not drink too much cough syrup before you call. 800-2599-231. I'm Alex Jones, and this is the Info War.
A heartbreaking update this morning. Debbie Reynolds, age 84, mother of Carrie Fisher, has died of a suspected stroke. Her last words, quote, "I want to be with Carrie." Carrie Fisher, her famous daughter, Princess Leia, of course, died of a heart attack on a flight from London to LAX earlier this week. Debbie Reynolds died this morning, hours after suffering a stroke at her son Todd Fisher's house. The 84-year-old was planning her daughter's funeral when she suddenly took ill around 1 p.m. in the afternoon. She was rushed from their house in Beverly Hills to a nearby hospital, but died shortly thereafter, her son later revealed. Now, Todd, the last family member remaining, said that his sister's death was just simply too much for his mother, and she died longing to be with her daughter. Carrie Fisher died on Tuesday, 4 days after a heart attack on board a flight. And the Star Wars actress, she was in the middle of promoting her memoirs, The Diarist, and she was thought to be in good health. Here's what we know. Debbie Reynolds has died, age 84. I'm Margaret Hell reporting for Infowars.com.
All across the Western world, MSM is attempting to demonize the language and words we use, saying, don't say Merry Christmas, use holidays. And now they say don't use holiday. Well, I got some news for them. We're going to continue to use the speech we feel like using, and we're going to exercise the First Amendment in your globalist, tyrannical faces. And that's why I'm extending the Christmas sale this year right through into the start of 2017. Store-wide free shipping at InfoWarsStore.com. And some of the biggest specials of 2016. Super Male Vitality for 30% off. Rainforest Plus, 33% off. Winter Sun, Vitamin D, 25% off. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. BioTrue Selenium, 30% off. 30% off on the Advanced Liver Cleanse Pack with Oxy Powder. That's store-wide free shipping, massive discounts, and 10% off on top of that when you sign up for AutoShip at InfoWarsStore.com. That's InfoWarsStore.com, or go right to the supplements at InfoWarsLife.com. It's not just our water we need to filter. It's not just our food that needs to be clean. It's the air we're breathing, especially for our children. The artificial particulates, the chemicals, is absolutely weighing down our immune systems. The same team based right here in America that brought you the Alexa Pure groundbreaking water filtration systems have now developed Alexa Pure Breeze. Whether it's your home or office, you owe it to yourself, your coworkers, your family, your children. Do the best job you can to purify your air. The elite are masters at poisoning our environment while themselves doing things that mitigate or avoid most of the toxic effects for themselves. The general public doesn't. The Alexa Pure Breeze would be a steal at $300, $400, $500. One of these systems can keep 800 square feet incredibly clean. This is a system I'm personally putting in throughout my house, replacing older, more expensive filters that didn't do as good a job. Find out why this system is so revolutionary today at InfoWarsStore.com.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
21 days until Trump's in office, and they're openly trying to start a war with Russia. They're openly trying to get a civil war going in Israel. They're calling in newspapers for Trump to be killed, but no one's getting in trouble. One guy that lived close to where the president's staying in Florida got arrested because when they showed up at his house, he started basically screaming and yelling and saying it's his right to say kill Trump. So they had him right there. He'll get convicted. But meanwhile, you've got professors all over the United States, including right here at UT, where they're announcing communism in America, that white people are inherently bad, and most of them are white. This is what the big universities are paying to do. This is what the big foundations are paying to fund. This is what the elite want, to make us a bunch of dysfunctional mental patients. And then when the problem gets big, they bring in total federalization to counter all the racial division. It's classic divide and conquer. Stories up on Infowars.com. Pro-white genocide professor given no punishment despite saying massacre of whites a good thing. He said, all I want for Christmas is white genocide. Despite explicitly stating the massacre of white people during the bloody Haitian Revolution was a good thing and wishing for white genocide on Christmas Eve, Professor George Mayer said Drexel University supports him. And Reuters goes on to report from that. In fact, I have the Reuters article right here in my stack. Isn't that just cute? A Drexel University professor whose tweet that he wanted white genocide for Christmas sparked a firestorm of criticism from the school and social media, said on Tuesday that administrators supported his right to take part in political debate. Imagine if a professor said we should support black genocide. I mean, you would be fired so quick, your head would spin. I mean, they've had liberal professors at Yale and a bunch of other places when they're calling for banning costume parties or banning fiesta parties. You know, Mexican food's good. When I went to college for a couple of years, I got invited to rush parties and stuff. I never joined any of it because I thought it was stupid. I'm not bashing if you're in a fraternity, just whatever. I mean, there's nothing against the sorority girls being there or whatever. That was fun, drink beer, whatever. And I mean, the most common party was fiesta because it's fun to drink margaritas and eat Mexican food and run around with sombreros on your head and jump in the pool. I mean, it's fun, and that's why people do it. The Mexicans invented it all because it's fun, you know. Okay. Nobody says the Mexicans don't know how to have fun. They do. And this is just, I mean, that's not racist. Well, they banned that all over. And this is just the insanity. Oh, I guess what else? You have toga parties, so folks are kind of lightly dressed. Oh, that's expropriating stuff from the Greeks. You're putting the Greeks down when you do that. Oh, so let's not be Greeks. And don't be a cowboy either. All over the country, they say, that's cultural appropriation. You should say, I'm not paying $30,000 a year to be in a cult that tells me that I can't be a Native American or a cowboy, or that I can't be a geisha girl. I know people. Well, it's come out in the news. In one case, East Side Yoga. I was talking to one of my friends whose girlfriend's a yoga instructor. I heard about this, and it ended up being in the paper. A couple of years ago, they said, we're going to have for Halloween a yoga party with wine and stuff like that, and we're going to come dressed, like India style. Well, it's Indian culture. It's an Indian exercise. And so it's kind of like you're going to a dude ranch. Come dressed with your cowboy boots, your cowboy hat, and your go to Shepler's or whatever Western store you go to and get dressed up like that. You're not bashing cowboys. You're not bashing anybody. It's just what you do. And they had a bunch of folks flip out and say you can't do it, so they canceled it. It's all about control, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you don't dress up in Indian garb and don't have girls belly dancing, whatever you do. Just shut it down because the cult rules things. A Drexel University professor whose tweet that he wanted white genocide for Christmas sparked a firestorm of criticism from the school and social media said on Tuesday the administrators supported his right to take part in political debate. George Mayer, a white associate professor of history at the politics at Philadelphia University, has said his Christmas Eve posting that all I want for Christmas is white genocide on Twitter was aimed at poking fun at white supremacists. Oh, so it's okay. Even though they do call for an end of white people all over the major universities and have it in official textbooks. When I took 2 years of community college, seeing if I even wanted to go to college, I was already successful in radio by that time and got out of it. It didn't matter whether it was psychology class, whatever. They would come in and hold a picture of a brown person who didn't look like any particular group and say, it's going to be wonderful that soon whites will be gone. Whites are inherently bad. At ACC, I would sit there. That's why I got out of college. And if I wrote papers in psychology or Texas history or whatever I had to take, countering that, I would get Fs. So I would write these things with errors all over them as a joke, agreeing with all of it. And they would give me A+ and invite me for coffee. I'm not kidding. And they didn't care I'd done 180 about faces from paper to paper. They liked the fact that I had submitted. I mean, I would write stuff that you couldn't hardly read on purpose, and they would give me A+. This is a cult of sickening scum. They want to teach 2 + 2 = 5, folks. They want basket cases that only know how to be hurt and feel weird and scared, so they go into the wings of these parasites. Oh, come here. I'll protect you since everyone's out to get you. so you can't even get a job. You've got so many chips on your shoulder. You're so neurotic, and you're led by little twits with their little ironic Colonel Sanders beard and mustaches to teach you how bad whites are. And then when you get caught doing it, you slime out and go, oh, I was just countering white supremacists. Oh, kill all the white people. Now it's okay. Here's an excerpt on Latin American social movements with almost 10,000 Twitter followers. And then it goes through all the crazy statements they've made. But his attempt at satire triggering a backlash from conservative websites with some online comments calling for him to be fired or commit suicide. Drexel on Sunday called his tweet utterly reprehensible and said it would meet with him to discuss it. This is fake news. He explicitly clarified his comment to say the massacre of whites during the Haitian Revolution was a good thing indeed. What does that mean? So now they're saying it's fake news if you say he said kill everybody. He said nothing about Haiti, but see, he controls reality. So now he's saying it's fake news. Oh, I said kill all the whites. I only meant in Haiti. And by the way, it's fake news if you talk about me. This is where they play this game like you're stupid and talk to you like an idiot. And we've put up with so much in this country and so much in Europe and so much in other parts of the world that I expect them to act like this. They still think you're totally in a coma. And some people are. Where George Soros comes out and says Trump is going to be a dictator like Hitler, and I'm more scared than when I was in Hungary under Hitler, and he's a horrible person, he's starting all these wars, and he's really, really racist, and everything Soros says is what he's done. It's everything he's the king of. And you won't see any MSM point out the hypocrisy because their job is to invert reality and teach you that prosperity is an evil thing. Now I'm going to go to break and come back and break all this down with Greg and John and Matt and Ward and a bunch of other folks that are patiently holding the toll-free number to join us. It's 800-259-9231. When you hear somebody hang up, that's your chance. Call in. Bam, bam, bam. On the other side of this break, I want to just recap that Soros has conjured Hitler in an attack on ascendant populists all over the world. Every country that's getting a vote, from Spain to Italy to the UK, is voting to begin the pullout of the unelected EU. And this little monster is panicking, calling it undemocratic to pull out of something that's undemocratic. Total inversion of reality. Our story is up on drudgereport.com, breaking it all down right now. So please get that story out to everyone. And I'm going to shoot a video and I'm going to add into the article pointing out the biblical level, incredible hypocrisy of all of this. But the easiest place to find our article is Soros, Trump is a would-be dictator who threatens New World Order, their New World Order, which they say doesn't exist. Very important article by Paul Joseph Watson. Let's get that out on Facebook, Twitter, you name it. What a hypocrite. Breaks the record for being a hypocrite. Briefly, we are listener supported. The globalists, as you know, target sponsors. They shut you down. They go after you. I don't even list a full list of our AM/FM affiliates anymore. I've decided that over a year ago, and it's worked. We gained over 100 because the enemy is so stupid they can't even find our full affiliate list and then try to boycott them and attack them. Just little moves like that. But the point is, we've gone from like 170 to 250 plus and growing. But the point is, support those local stations, become a sponsor, let the sponsors know you're supporting them because they are a sponsor, and spread the word how folks can listen to the station. Send them $100. Also support us. Get the nutraceuticals. I mean, amazing. The good Halogen X2. Find out about it. It's the missing link. The other big missing link, BioTrue Selenium. Don't take too much of it though, folks. It's amazing. But a lot of people have big deficiencies in that. Super Male Vitality is 30% off right now. It's about to sell out. We don't get more for about a month. But I want to sell out before the end of the year, obviously, for tax reasons, because they have inventory taxes here in Texas. So InfoWarsLife.com. We have hundreds of items between 50 and 25% off. Store-wide free shipping. Sign up for auto ship. Get an additional 10% off any item, whether it's storable foods or whether it's high-quality, non-GMO, open-pollinated heirloom seeds or water filtration systems. The very best systems at the lowest prices. Survival gear, preparedness gear, solar-powered, crank-powered shortwave radios, the highest quality, lowest price, the Block It Pocket privacy and security. So your cell phone isn't tracking you except when you want to personally use it. all sorts of amazing things. By shopping with the good guys, you fund the next level of the info war. And funding revolutions against tyranny is just as important as being on air. So I salute you and thank you for making it all possible. Christmas is extended because they hate it so much right through to New Year's Day at InfoWarsStore.com. Again, thank you all for your support. These are amazing items. Check them out for yourself. There's so much we didn't mention. InfoWarsStore.com. We'll be back.
What's it going to take? Another news story? You've heard about Infidel body armor for years. You know you should have a set. So should your wife. Things aren't getting better. They're getting worse. Thousands already wear Infidel body armor. Now get yours. Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com and check out today's specials. We make armor easy to understand and easy to purchase. InfidelBodyArmor.com. Just won't quit.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Good day, America. Are you tired of your butt cheeks being frozen? Tired of cold hands or cold feet? I'm tired of the cold. Well, there's a new kid on the block. It's Fortress Clothing. Fortress will keep you warm. Fortress does what no other clothing company has ever done. We keep you warm in the cold, even when wet. You heard that right, even when wet. No BS, no gimmicks. Work, play, sweat in the cold, and stay warm. So quit your complaining and go to FortressClothing.com. FortressClothing.com, enter coupon code AMERICA and get 20% off any item. Mittens, jackets, pants, balaclavas, or hot socks, FortressClothing.com, enter coupon code AMERICA. You're going to love being warm all winter long. FortressClothing.com.
My name is Robin. I'm 47 years of age. I absolutely love One World Whey. It was about 5 years ago when a trainer told me it was the end-all of protein powders. One day when I ran out, I decided to try other brands. I spent 8 months and could not find a replacement. I went through tons of brands, types, and flavors, and almost all of them tasted unnatural and not pleasant. When it all boiled down, I came right back to One World Whey. I buy the cost-effective 5-pound container, and my family craves their One World Whey too. I look forward to and enjoy having my One World Whey and feel great after I drink it. Thank you, Synergistic Nutrition, for perfecting a protein powder in the product One World Whey. From taste to how it makes me and my family feel, you get an A++.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
We use cell phones against our heads every day, but now a landmark U.S. government study confirms increased health risks from exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The time to protect yourself is now. The solution is Defender Shield. Proudly made in the USA, Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation emitted from cell phones, tablets, and laptops. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. Use discount code DEFENDER for 10% off. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in EMF radiation protection.
Did you know your car can be hacked just like your computer or phone? Hackers can hijack the signal of your own key fob to burglarize your vehicle in seconds. The Black Hole Faraday key fob bag is a signal impenetrable shield that stops these hacks in their tracks. Protect one of your most valuable assets. Go to hackproofbag.com. That's hackproofbag.com and use promo code RADIO to get 20% off. Or call 805-222-4584. 805-222-4584.
All right, I want to go to your phone calls, but I want to just pull back here for just a moment. Because every time I'm about to go on air at 11 a.m. Central, and every time I get off here, when I'm walking to the bathroom or going to look at some video clips in one of the studios or stepping outside to make a phone call, I just think about the fact that the globalists are panicking. They're trying to start wars. They're openly passing laws to begin censorship of media in the U.S. They're claiming that American patriots that want sovereignty are Russian agents when they're the ones bringing in foreign powers to suppress our speech. It's just incredible to me how truly criminal and despicable and villainous and comic book. I mean, this is like a James Bond movie. They're really doing it. They're really going to pull something big because they've gone from looking butthurt now to looking really angry, focused, and evil. And they're nodding their heads and they're saying something big's coming. Trump's going to get it. He's going to pay. Oh, it's his fault. The big war is about to start. We were saying months ago they're going to start a war if Trump gets elected. And now they're doing it. And now they're on TV saying the big war is about to happen. It's his fault, when anyone with the geopolitical understanding of a 5-year-old understands they're starting stuff with this whole destabilization of Israel and Russia. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And I'm not on Trump's back. He knows what he's doing, but man, he's got to get more aggressive with these people. He's like, hey, prosperity's up. Hey, every day announces new factories coming back. I understand that's great. They're trying to start a war before you even get in. You got to call these people out. And I know Trump knows the public's not that sophisticated, but it doesn't matter. He has to lead them to it. The message is complex. You make the public complex by putting out complex messages. That's my view. You can't dumb it down when it comes to this. Trump has to come out and say they're trying to start a war ahead of him getting into office, and it's the only way they're going to back off. You're going to be held responsible for trying to start an intifada, a revolution, encouraging the Palestinians to riot, and all the stuff you're doing with Russia. You're full of crap. Stop saying I'm a Russian agent. You're the ones that brought in the Chinese. You're the ones that brought in the Saudi Arabians to fund the election, and I'm going to investigate that when I get in. You're scared I'm going to bring up you work for foreign powers, Hillary. We're going to investigate your ties to Russia when I get in. They got her red-handed on the uranium and all of it. He's got to take her on. He's got people telling him, look nice, look presidential, try to heal the country. That's if they weren't enemies. That's if they weren't trying to overthrow the country. That'd be the right thing if they weren't trying to unseat you, President-elect. You've got to go on the attack because we're under attack. He should talk about Soros being investigated for criminal activity when he gets in. He should say, Soros, I'm coming for you. I mean, Trump needs to come out with a press conference and say, how dare this Nazi collaborator compare me to Hitler? And then read his quotes about the happiest time of my life was rounding up Jews in Hungary. What? He's crazy. Destroy him. Press the attack. Why do you think the InfoWars had such a big effect? The media is so arrogant. Oh, Alex is discrediting Trump. Oh, blew up in your face, didn't it, jackasses? We're not here to make friends. We're not here to get ratings. We're here to overthrow the New World Order. We're here to burn it down politically.